Hey traders, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk about Vinco Ventures, ticker symbol BBIG. Now, it's been a while since my last video, and there's a lot I could go over here of just kind of updates that have happened since we last talked about it. However, in this video, I'm going to keep it nice and short. I'm going to go over some things I've been seeing on Twitter this week, and I'm going to respond to that, show you guys why I ultimately believe that any rumors of dilution aren't going to have a big impact on where this stock is heading. Then I'm going to show you my math for why I think this stock is heading very, very far up. I think that there's over 1,000% gain potential here. And then finally, as always, I'm going to take a look at the charts, breaking down key levels and key indicators so we know how to best play this stock moving forward. So without any further ado, leave a thumbs up on this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's get started. Okay, so this is kind of where I want to spend the bulk of this video just focused on. We saw this tweet come out earlier this morning, kind of just talking about, giving caution to the long side of BBIG, saying that, there is reason for concern, and that reason for concern is potential dilution upon the announcement of the merger. And this comes from the analyst 81. He has a pretty big following, about 27,000 followers. So he said, upon approval of the merger, there will be an offering that will be used to pay Palladium Capital LLC. The info is available in the S1 form, means as soon as the merger will be approved and confirmed, at least $8 million worth of common shares will be offered. Those shares will be offered at $4 a share. So that is just kind of, right now what's been floating out on the internet over the weekend. However, I personally don't really think that this is going to have any impact on BBIG as a whole. And, I did the math here. I set my PT. I'm going to break this all down for you guys now. And I'm going to show you why that dilution is really going to ultimately have very, very little effect on this stock heading upwards. So right now, we're currently sitting with the current shares outstanding at 59.96 million. That ultimately then results in a market cap of 59.96 million times the 289 share price. And that brings us to a total market cap currently of 173.28 million. These numbers are publicly available. For example, if you go onto Market Watch, you can see right here, market cap 173.28, shares outstanding is 59.96. So that's where I'm getting these numbers. But now with that, $2 million or 2 million share dilution factored in, we're going to see that it really doesn't change much of the picture. Okay, so they have the ability to dilute $8 million worth at $4 a share, so 2 million shares total in an offering upon closure of the merger. That would bring the shares outstanding to 61.96 million, and then the market cap with that dilution factored in is going to be 61.96 million shares at the current price of $289 per share. So total market cap of $179.06 million with dilution factored in. It really does not increase that much. However, what we have to notice about these two things is that these are both severely undervalued. Okay. Upon the closure of merger, Vinco is expected to receive 40% ownership of Lomotive, which was recently valued by Gemini at $5 billion. Vinco's ownership would thus be worth 40% of that $5 billion. So doing the quick math there, that brings Vinco's ownership of Lomotive, giving Vinco a value of $2 billion on that deal alone. So, okay, excluding the ENFT projects that Vinco is currently working on and any other projects that Vinco is currently doing, Vinco currently is trading at 8.65% of fair value before dilution, and also at 8.95% of fair value with dilution factored in, meaning that, the current market cap is only 8.65% of what it should be worth according to the Gemini valuation. And when you factor in the potential dilution that could come, well, all of a sudden we're sitting in a market cap that's only 8.95% of fair value. Very, very undervalued. And so then we use that, do some quick math to figure out what would fair value be for the BBIG stock price. And what we get is 2.89. This is adjusted for dilution, by the way. So the current price, you divided by the fair value percentage, and you get a total of $32.29. That's over 1,000% increase. And that's just fair value based on the Lomotive transaction alone. So obviously a lot of upside. I am not worried about any dilution personally. I know what I own. I am very excited for the future of Inco Ventures with their Lomotive project and also the other projects that they're doing that I'm not even factoring in to my PT calculations. So that's ultimately what I wanted to cover there. But now a couple other things before we hop into the chart. So the first one is going to be institutional ownership. Seems to be some chatter going on about this as well. However, as you guys can see, the picture for institutional ownership here is pretty healthy. We have 56 total institutional owners, where 48 of them are long only, 0 are short only, and 8 are long short. I'm not really hating the long short idea here, as you know, we haven't really seen much communication on BBIG side. You know, I think that their management or PR department hasn't really done a great job handling this merger. There's obviously a lot of excitement, but we're just not getting a lot of details. So I don't hate hedging a long position with a short position. And as you guys can see, we did see that recently with some of the most recent 13F and 13D filings that we've seen. Like we see Simplex Trading, they bought a call position and a put position, as well as an overall position of 233,000 shares. So I think that overall they are optimistic about the future of this company. However, you know, they did hedge it with a put position just in case either the merger falls through or earnings are bad or, you know, whatnot. So that's not a terrible strategy. Pro Equities Incorporated did the same thing here. They had that. Didn't actually open up any sort of position aside from the options. However, overall, we are seeing a lot of institutions open up long positions, whether they be small positions or large positions. And overall, that's pretty exciting. So yes, we've seen one major institution kind of decrease their percentage of shares owned, with Vanguard cutting about 30% of their position in Q2, which honestly isn't a terrible move either. You know, while the stock was up and ripping, you know, it's not ever a bad idea to take some profits. They still do own about 1 million shares of BBIG. However, we've seen many other institutions step in, take their place. Okay, Geo Capital reported on Friday that they have increased 122% of their ownership. Same with the Northern Trust Group, and same with many other institutions. So obviously, you know, institutional ownership right now is looking very healthy. On top of that, this is very exciting here. We are currently sitting at a short float of 51.26%. So that obviously makes BBIG a candidate for a short squeeze if we do start getting some PR and we start to kind of realize some more details about this highly anticipated merger. If the stock starts to shoot up in price, shorts will be forced to cover their position. That's going to create a short squeeze because that will lead the stock price to increasing even more. So that is something to keep your eye on as well. But finally, let's hop into these charts very quickly. Just talking about price action this week, we did see a very disappointing day on Friday. BBIG was actually falling mainly just as a sympathy play to Wish off terrible earnings. These companies really have nothing in common aside from, you know, having a few main supporters on social media kind of backing them. And so it's very dumb, in my opinion, to see a stock fall 10%, even though it really had no news of its own that would warrant that kind of fall. Before that, we were having a really nice week, actually grinding up very nice, almost into a breakout zone on Thursday before kind of the unfortunate drop on Friday. But that's okay. You know, we're still, you know, sitting very pretty, and I believe that we should get a pretty nice bounce come Monday, just because, you know, this sell-off was definitely very unwarranted. So that's something to keep your eye on. Okay, but now let's get into indicators. So we're going to start off here with the moving averages, starting off with the 9-day EMA at 306 and the 21-day EMA at 322. Those are the shortest term moving averages I use as a trader, and we were starting to grind above these levels before the drop off on Friday. However, we did close below them, meaning that short term, this stock does give off a bearish signal. That being said, we are sitting very close to both of those positions. And if we can reclaim both of those levels, then short term, the stock is going to turn a lot more bullish. And then I do suspect that when it does turn a lot more bullish, there will also be a lot more volume and momentum to the bullish side that will come with that. Okay, looking a little bit longer term, we are seeing that the 50-day moving average sits all the way at 379. So that's pretty high. That means intermediate term, the stock is definitely giving off a bearish signal. So that's something to keep in mind. We do have a bit of work to do before intermediate term we are starting to look bullish. However, long term, we have the 200-day moving average at 277 currently. We bounced off this level perfectly last week heading into this week. So that was definitely a very good sign to see us bounce off that level and be able to hold that level throughout the week. And that ultimately means that long term, the stock is still looking very, very bullish. So that is definitely a good sign. Final indicator to take a look at is going to be the RSI. And the RSI, as you guys can see here, we are in neutral to oversold territory right now with an RSI right around 42. So that's not bad at all. That means that if we do start to rip to the upside, there is a lot of room for BBIG to go before it gets into an overbought or even overextended range. So that's definitely a positive. This is not a bad spot to be in at all. As you guys can see, just taking a look back to May when we made that move from $2 all the way to highs of about $6. We were sitting in a very similar level as far as the RSI went, and we just made that monster move. And only at that, $5 to $6 level is when we started to hit kind of an overextended range. So that's definitely a positive. So definitely a lot of room to go up from here. And that is something I'm personally very optimistic about. But now let's go into our key levels heading into next week's trading session. So as far as the support goes, I mean, the main support you're going to see here is this 277 level, the 200-day moving average. This is going to be where a lot of buyers come in. We saw a big amount of buyers come in last time we tested that level, and it bounced off of that level pretty hard. And I suspect that if we do test it again, we are going to see a lot more buyers come in as well. Below that, however, we also do have support right around the 270 area. So if we do fall below it, we may be able to catch a bounce off of that and break back above. However, the 200-day moving average always comes with a lot of support or resistance, depending on which side of it you are on. And since we are above it, I do suspect it to be our main our support level to watch out for. If it does not hold this level, all of a sudden the outlook is going to turn a lot more bearish on the stock. So be wary of that. However, now taking a look at the resistance side, we have our main level here, first level at 290. We were not able to hold that on Friday, so we'll see if we can reclaim it tomorrow. After that, we have 305, then 318, 330, 345, and 360. I will point out that at 345, we are going to be breaking out of that longer term downtrend that we've been in since June. So that's definitely something to watch out for. If we do break past this level, I suspect that we're going to start flying past some more resistance levels pretty quickly. We'll get past 360 pretty quickly, and then we're going to try to reclaim that 50-day moving average. It's all going to come with kind of a break of that 345 level. So keep your eyes on that. And aside from that, let me know what you think is going to happen next week. I'm always interested to hear your guys' feedback. If you have any questions for me, let me know. I'm happy to answer them. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, please subscribe to the channel. And aside from that, have a great rest of your weekend.